What's up, y'all? Welcome to my fantasy football podcast. My name's Cozmo. We're here in the week 5 of the NFL season, man. I'm super excited. It is Thursday, so we're into Thursday night football tonight. We got the Rams. Man, I got the Rams over the 49ers tonight. I think with the 49ers injuries, man, it's the Rams all day. We're going to get into kind of our picks for the week and everything in just a second. I'm going to go over my bets first. I just think that's a good way for me to kind of start out the week before we get into every single pick that I have. You're going to see a bunch of them here, a bunch of money lines, but spread picks, those are going to be our weekly picks today. So right here we have Los Angeles Rams, 6.5. We got a little $20 on that on the spread there. I think they'll take that. And then we got a 10-leg parlay. We got the Rams, we got the Browns, we got the Jets, we got the Eagles, we got the Texans, we got the Colts, we got the Giants, we got the Cardinals, the Lions, and the Bills. $10, that'd pay out 1,000. Just a little dollars for maybe a big payout there. Lots of legs, so just a high possibility on that one. Then we got a 4-leg right here. We got the Colts, the Giants, the Lions, and the Bills. The only wary one here is going to be the Giants here. They are actually the only underdog pick in this one. But that'll be kind of a plus 400, almost a plus 300 right there. So we like that little $25. And then a 5-leg for a plus 500. This would be a $25. And this also has a little bit of those Giants in there too, but it's also got the Colts, the Lions, the Bills, and the Chiefs. And then we also have our you old future picks out there. But right here, man, we're going to get into our spread picks for the week. Tonight, 49ers, Rams, right here on CBS, they have him at 5.5. Man, you got to give it to the Rams. These guys are killing it right now. Offense looks insane. You take away the second half against the Eagles. I mean, granted, this is football. You have to include the whole game. But you take away that second half against the Eagles, and they look like a NFL Super Bowl championship team. I mean, these guys looked amazing. They were putting together a great offense. They're so flashy. They've got a run game. They've got a pass game. They've got it all. And the defense looks pretty good. I think that's really where they need to find their identity, and then they'll do good on their side of the ball. 49ers, man, just to speak on them, they're obviously really hurt. That sucks. Kittle's out. Purdy's out. Mac Jones is dealing with a knee injury. On the other side, Bosa, I think he tore his ACL too. I mean, these poor guys, man, it just shows you that like these injuries will impact, the whole entire season, especially if they're key players like this. Fred Warner, obviously an animal on defense. He'll go out and give you 12 tackles at linebacker, but he can't do it every week. And if he's going to get 12 tackles, he needs to be able to have some guys up front that are going to be able to give a good push for him. He can't do it all by himself. So this is going to be a tough game for the 49ers, but you got to give it to the Rams here. Vikings, Browns here. I have the Browns at 3.5. I think that the Vikings with Carson Wentz, they looked really good a couple weeks ago. And they looked good with a little bit of Jordan Addison addition. But I just think the Browns defense is killing it right now, and they're going to get after Carson Wentz. I think that's Carson Wentz. Whenever he plays good, it's against an okay team or maybe a bad defense. But this defense is picking people apart. They look good against everyone. So I'm going to give the Detroit Lions last week, they obviously killed them by like 17, 20 points, but they looked a lot better than the game entailed. Gabriel is obviously starting this week with Flacco out. So, you're going to have to see something going on there with the rookie. But that man, that's their 3rd-round pick. So they've got belief in this kid here. So I'm going to take some belief in them too. I got the Browns at 3.5. Don't let me down, boys. They also got the Texans at 3.5 plus here against the Ravens. I think people are really discounting the Ravens on this one. I know that the Texans. Oh gosh, this is a tough one because the Texans, they really do have the full team right now, and they started clicking last week. You can kind of tell that Woody Marks is really putting together a good game. I picked him up in a couple leagues. He's going to be a great addition to their team. You have Nick Chubb, who's, proven, but, once you get to that like 33 plus age range, you start to lose a little bit of your step. You need these young cats to come in and really give you 100 yards like Woody Marks can. Ravens, like we're talking about here with these old running backs, You have Justice Hill, who's a young guy, but you have Derrick Henry, who's pushing 30, man. He looks good. He's averaging a lot of yards per carry, but if they don't have a threat at Lamar Jackson or a threat at downfield, like I mean, I just could not see Cooper Rush tossing the ball like Lamar Jackson does. I just don't think he's as consistent. I just don't think he's as mobile, and they can run the same offense. I think they're really going to have to adapt. And on a weekly basis here, this is just a very tough one. So I got to give the Texans here, especially if they're going to give them 3.5 points. I could see them losing by a field goal, especially because the Texans do have a good defense here. They could keep the game close and maybe lose by a little, so I'm still going to take the Texans there. It's a little bit of underdogs. Right here, Dolphins, Panthers. Man, tough one here. I just, we're talking about teams clicking, and I think the Dolphins, without injuries, they're going to be a good team. And the Panthers just usually let me down. They did shut the Falcons out by 30 points a couple weeks ago. So we got to keep that in mind. They're doing really good at takeaways, and I think that's where Tua kind of lacks. And just kind of keeping that in mind, I think if we're looking at these 1-3 teams, how they played, the Dolphins played good against the Bills, but the Panthers, if they're going to give the Falcons a run for their money, I think I got to take the Panthers at home on this one, and especially if the Dolphins, they just don't travel well ever, not too far, but they just don't usually travel well. Colts 6.5. Minus. Do I even have to say anything? I'm a Raider hater, man. These guys, they never really do it. Gino, he's been giving the ball away a little too much. He loves to pass it, which is fine. Get the ball out there to your boys, Trey Tucker. I wish he could have gotten it a little more inside to Brock Bowers. But he didn't. So Brock Bowers is no longer on my fantasy team. And the Raiders are still the Raiders, and I'm taking the Colts at 6.5. Give me the Colts at 8.5, quite frankly. I think this could be a really good week for pick'ems, spreads, and money lines on game-wise, especially if you're just picking games individually. There's a lot of these that you could make some good money on that I mean, obviously, I'm not a fortune teller. Maybe I am. But I just think that you could make a lot on these covers here. Coming down here, if Jackson Dart's healthy, you got to take the Giants here. Obviously, the Saints, they're 0-4, but they do have a good run game. But I just think the Giants have played some tough teams here. Obviously, the Saints have two. Oh, this is last year. The Saints have two. So, here we are. Yeah, goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm going to have to give this to the Giants. And over here they have the spread at 1.5 as well. It is in the Superdome. This is a Superdome. So, yeah, we'll give it to the Giants here. I think on the road, if Jackson Dart's there, I think he'll show out, show him what he's like from the South. That's where he played ball. He'll show him what's up. Ooh, excuse me. Cowboys, Jets. Great game here. Cowboys, kind of like the Raiders, they never really do it for me. But the Jets, they look good, but I just don't think they'll cover. They never do. They're just not that team. You got to give it to the Cowboys here. If Jerry Jones doesn't win against the Jets this week, he might have to forfeit the team. People are going to be at his throat, man. He'll probably come out and be like, hey, it was a close game, and we came out almost even, and almost even means you almost win. That's just how he talks about things, and I just think that you got to give them the Cowboys here because the Jets they never take the game at the end. They'll put it close, but they'll never take it. Eagles, Broncos. Oh man, in all my heart, I wish the Broncos could beat the Eagles. I would love to see the Eagles fall to 4-1. That would be my dream. And I would honestly love for the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs to all be tied for the division right now. That would be pretty fun, if I'm being quite honest. But it's not going to happen, especially if you're playing in Philly. It is a noon game, so, not no prime time or anything, but I just don't think that the Broncos are going to come out and deliver it to the Eagles right now. The Eagles are struggling on offense, so this is where the Broncos could exploit them. That's where my hope is. But I just think that the Eagles still have a great defense. They can shut Bo Nix down unless they can really do something and get the run game going like they did last week. So we're gonna take the Eagles here. It is 4.5. Oh, it's 4.5 points though. Yeah, I think we still take the 4.5. I think they beat them by maybe a touchdown, especially at home. Tickets starting at $258. That's pretty pricey if you ask me. Titans, Cardinals, 8.5 spread here. Oh, this is a tough one. Just with how the Cardinals have been playing lately. The Cardinals are 2-2 against the spread. The Texans are 1-3. They are playing at the Cardinals Stadium, and I just think that 8.5 points is a lot. We've talked about this a couple times, especially last week with the Bills 16.5. It's kind of outrageous. This is 2 scores. So we're just give the Texans to cover here. I'm not going to put any money on this for sure. This is a game you want to stay far away from. Anything that involves the Cardinals, stay far away from it. They don't know how to play. They don't know what they're doing. They'll go out there and Kyler Williams will run for 150 yards and pass for 280 and have 4 total touchdowns one week. And then the next week he'll have 20 yards rushing and 80 yards passing, and you'll be like, where was it? Where was that at? Are you tired or no? Who knows? So I'm just gonna take the Titans here. Cam Ward. Let's see the boys show out. Buccaneers, Seahawks. I love the Bucks here. They're just so hurt. And no Bucky and Irving really hurts them on offense. They have no wide receivers, no running backs, but they have Baker Mayfield. They're going to have to travel all the way over to the Seattle Seahawks. So I think we have to give the Seattle Seahawks 3.5 points, which makes me sick to my stomach. I hate to see the Buccaneers fall 3-2. But I do like the Bucks in a few situations. Maybe if the line was 4.5, I would take it like kind of up here with the Eagles. I would take the Bucks to cover there. Man, this way it makes me want to take the Broncos to cover. Nope, we need these picks, man. The Eagles are good. I can't be a hater. I am a hater, but I can't be one when I'm making these picks. Lions to cover, man. The Lions may take the freaking scoring record this week. Are you kidding me? They might beat the Bengals by 40. I'm not kidding. They're going to lay the wood on these bad boys. Oh, I have the Chargers picked down here, but the Commanders are going to win this game. Man, I hope the Chargers lose. They got the playbook last week. The freaking New York Giants beat the Chargers. So with a rookie quarterback and a hurt wide receiver. So I'm taking the Commanders with Jay Daniels back, my sophomore QB. I love Jaden Daniels. I like Commanders to cover 2.5 here. Take Commanders to win, quite honestly. Bills to cover 7.5. Oh, they didn't cover 16.5 2 weeks ago. What are they against the spread? 1-3? 2-2. And this is a divisional game. Prime time, Sunday night in Buffalo. Let's give the Patriots 7.5 points here. What a spread, but we'll give it to them, man. They might lose by a touchdown, but that's just 7. We're going to give them 7.5. And then give my boys Chiefs 3.5 points here. I hate the Jaguars. I hope they beat them by 15. The Jaguars have a really good defense, which is why I think this could be a close one. But the Chiefs, if they played like they did last week, anything like they did last week, honestly, this won't be a close game. They'll go out there and kick them. The Jaguars look good against the 49ers, but anyone looks good against the 49ers when they're hurt like this. Picking points for New England and Buffalo. Obviously, we got to keep it within 7.5 here. So we're going to go Buffalo 24 and New England 18. 6 points right there. And then we have Chiefs, Jags. So we're going to go Chiefs 31, Jags 20. 5 to be respectable. Save our picks there. All right, man. Our picks are locked up here. I have 3 predictions for this week, folks. 3 predictions here. One of them is going to be to begin if there is an under that is at 45 and a half or 47 and a half. 45 to 47. If the over or under is set at that number, I would take the under in every single game. I've just been looking at it here. Dolphins, Panthers. Does anybody think either of these teams are going to go out there and score 25? I think the Panthers have a great defense. So I think we got to take the under here on this game. Colts, Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to score more than 15, and I don't think the Colts will go out and score more than 35. So let's take the under here too. That shouldn't even be 47. Cowboys, Jets. This one would be worrisome because both defenses are god awful, but that's still 25 points almost, 23 and a half points each. Actually, this one would be my one exception, just because these two teams are thrillers. Lions, Bengals here. The only exception would be because the Lions like to put 40 points on people, but they have been kind of nice lately. They only did about 8 points here and 30 there. They do like to score, man. Forgot the Lions were playing this week. Let's take these two out. Jets, Cowboys, Lions, Bengals. Everyone else I'd hit, though. Patriots, Bills, great defense here. This is going to be a primetime game. Those teams are going to show up. It's not going to be an offensive game. Chargers, Commanders here. This is going to be a great defensive game, too. Big names on both defenses. Lots of older guys. Khalil Mack, Chase Jones. A lot of these big guys. Freaking Bobby Wagner. Like all these guys that you don't even know that you haven't seen in a while. Some of these guys are like 35 plus. So we got to take this one too. And I would almost take the Buccaneers Seahawks. It's right at 45. And then Chiefs Jags, I'd take the under here too as well. Okay. Now we're going to hop into my teams. We did some good picks this week. We picked up some great players. I am projected to lose in this league. I am 3-1. I'm tied, or I'm in second place overall. I lost to my stepfather, man, but I do have more points for and more points against. So I'm going to take a good power grab there. But I am 3-1, tied for 3-1 here. But we're going to hop over to scores. I got my boy CJ. Woody Marks was a pickup. I just hope Jamar Chase can do something this week. And then Tyler Warren was a pickup for a wide receiver. I have Zay Flowers on the bench just because Lamar's hurt and I don't have faith in Cooper Rush. And then Bucky and Baker on the bench because it's just going to be a trouble week for them. I feel like Baker's going to force it. He might have a couple interceptions. And then CJ because they're playing just such a hurt offense and defense. Over here, this could be a really easy week. I don't even think he did switch his players out. So they're on a bye. So he's not going to switch his players out. If he doesn't switch his players out, this is an easy week. You got to pay attention if you're in fantasy. That's kind of rule number one. If you're paying attention in waivers, or if you're paying attention about Friday or Saturday, then you'll be fine. I say just check it twice a week if you don't want to be too invested in it. But if you're going to be in a fantasy league and have some money in something, you might as well pay a little attention to it. It doesn't take more than about 5 to about 20 minutes to check waivers or to message people on a trade deal possibly. This is my analyst here. Bodie, he's the one that gives us all of our stats here at Cosmic Fantasy Sports. So thanks him for all of the picks today. He's the sponsor of this video. Thank you, Bodie, for your contributions. Hopping back in here. It's all right. Let's get serious. We have Ray Killas, my boy Ray. He has someone on an empty bye here, so he needs to get someone up there. I'd love to take a dub here. Great team. Puka Nacua, Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Kenneth Walker, James Cook. All these guys score a lot of points. Quentin Johnson. just scores all around the board here. So I think that this is almost a take home no matter what. Um, his team looks a little banged up over here. He does have Rashad White, who could have an okay week just because of lonesome carries. And then here's, man, this is going to be a tough matchup this week. This is the one I really want to get into, man. And one that I'm kind of struggling with pick wise, just because I don't know if Lad McConkey is the pick over Nico Collins. Nico is a little bit hurt right now, but with these, just the defense right over there at Baltimore right now, with them being hurt, you want to get these guys and expose these matchups. He hasn't done crazy this year, obviously, but he has had some really good games. He had a 23-point against Jacksonville where they had like 3 takeaways and he was the only production on the team. So that's my highlight there. But I worry, Lad, he's in the same boat. He only had 1 game this year, actually. So I think actually the safe pick here would be to change out Lad McConkey. Absolutely, for Nico Collins, as long as he plays this week and is healthy. Okay. And here we are back in here. And then I also have James Cook, Saquon. Those guys are going to be great regardless. They're going to get all the carries. Like to see that. But he has a good team over here. That's what you got to be worried about. Jamar Chase, though, that's someone that he's going to have to worry about. And Xavier Worthy, both of these guys, they kind of have to shave picks. So I like to take the win here. Looks like he's favored just a little bit. Or no, I'm favored 3.5 points. So we'll take this all day. I really need a win here. Went down 2-2. Everyone's kind of tied 2-2 in this league in my right here. So we are 3-1, and then everyone else down here is tied 2-2. So this is a very must-win week. Sitting at 69% playoff chance. So see where that takes me. So we've talked about my bets. We have everything in for this week that I have started so far. If I put anything else in, I'll release a little short so that you all aren't missing out on that. Check out my new Instagram, man, Cosmic Fantasy Analysis. I'm super excited to be releasing some small videos, some stuff for you all to dive into, just some tidbits and tads. So if you don't want to watch these long format podcasts, I totally understand. But if you really want to get the in-depth information, stick around, join these episodes. And again, I have some plans to have some buddies on in a couple weeks. We're going to be doing some debates on players, possibly some live trading, just to kind of spice things up and make things interesting. And also some live picks. Again, thank you so much if you made it this far. This is something I'm so excited to release every week and put out there in the world. And this is just, something I've been thinking of for so long. So again, thank you all for watching. This has been a pleasure. And peace. Appreciate y'all.